Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to Head Game. Today we are playing Resident Evil Revelations 1. Now basically all doing is going to be talking about most of Resident Evil Revelations and all of Resident Evil games up until the last one of Resident Evil Biohazard, which has been the seventh game. But now that they are remastering a few older games, I like it actually, because like from what they did for Resident Evil and then Resident Evil 0, the graphics and controls were a bit terrible. I will admit that the controls aren't great, but basically I do enjoy the Resident Evil older games because you do get to see it for the first time, and also it's really amusing to see how well the graphics have come along since then. From like Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil all the way to Resident Evil 2, 3, the Raccoon City incident, and then there was Revelations 2, and then Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, and now there's a 7th one. Basically, it is amusing to see how good these gameplays have come so far, because I believe that in the near future they will do more Resident Evil games like this again, because like how can they not? Because a lot of fans will want to see way more stuff like this. So I believe it is really amusing to see all these games coming back, and just for me to go back and play these games is so much fun. I know it's only been 3 to 7 years that I've only played in Resident Evil, but the whole franchise, I believe, is amazing, and it's got a good taste of gameplays and story modes, and all. Because I am a huge fan of the roster, and well, hey, you know me, because in the last few gameplays I ever did for Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6, I've only loved Leon and Chris Redfield, because they're both the main characters of the whole main series, and I actually love it. Like, oh my gosh, Resident Evil Biohazard though, I didn't quite get the point of it. Like, from the T virus to the just all the viruses that they came up with was just crazy. Especially the T virus might have been the worst. But then again, Hugo Boras from Albert Wesker in Resident Evil 5. Yeah, that was a crazy virus of zombies infecting a lot. So I quite enjoyed Resident Evil 5 the most, but Albert Wesker, my god. I don't know what to say about him, because Wesker, he he was purely insane, but I don't know what really got him to be that crazy. But from what I understand between Sheva and Chris, and when they get into the storyline and how they open up to each other, it's pretty interesting that they have a partnership and friendship, but also to just find out that Jill Valentine is still alive. I believe that is a worthy and amazing storyline to find, and to think that Albert Wesker from Resident Evil 1 or 0 that he did that to Jill after she pushed him out of the window and all. I just cannot believe it. And this was even before DLC, right? So, well, I can think it was before DLC. I don't recall because I only recently found Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 0 about a year or two ago, so I don't really understand the DLC for Resident Evil, but all I know is, guys, is that Resident Evil is like my top, it's in my top 3 favorite games. You want to know what my top 3 favorite games are? Well, you're gonna have to think about it for a moment, because it's actually pretty simple economics. Because, well, you've seen the gameplays I've been doing for different games, right? So you just gotta think it through. Like, what are my real favorite games? Like, I've bragged a bit in the Uncharted gameplays when I did used to do voiceovers, that I was really good at it, right? But since the PS4 doesn't have a voiceover recognition for the game, it's a bit unsettling. So I couldn't do regular videos of me talking over Uncharted and all. But here's the point. It goes Uncharted, the whole franchise. Uncharted is my first favorite. Second favorite, Resident Evil. Whole series. It doesn't matter. But my third favorite of all is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So, yeah, there you have it. Those are my top 3 main games I play a lot of, and I'm just getting back into Resident Evil, so I'm gonna be playing that a lot more and doing more videos of it as well. Also, I will do way more videos of Resident Evil 2. Right when the remastered version comes out in January, so that's gonna be awesome, and I'm just so excited to do this, guys, because this is a franchise I love a lot. Besides Uncharted, I cannot stress that enough. Uncharted is above all my top favorite game franchise. And, well, yeah, it's just so amusing to see how all these gameplays came together and all. And, I'm just loving every moment of it. Because, like, you've seen what I can do in all the other games I've ever played. I'm practically a god.
So
But here's the thing with Resident Evil Biohazard. On the 7th game, I just don't understand why all those villains just won't die so easily. Because I think it's just insane that they buffed up a few of the characters, especially the last characters that you had to fight. That boss battle was just insane. And when you had to go into the first boss battle in Resident Evil Biohazard, you had to fight the guy like 2 or 3 times, and whenever you'd run away in the mansion, he'd go like, "Ethan!" And I'm going like, what the hell is this guy? He says it's so creepy, and seriously, it gave me the creeps for like a couple days. And like, I don't know, it's just a bit disturbing that they could survive so much damage in the game. Like ever since Albert Wesker died, all the infected got way more buffed up, and I don't mind. I don't mind it at all, but still, you guys gotta think about it. Like, why are they so buffed up in the game? But then again, hey, it's Resident Evil. I'm not complaining because it's such a good franchise. So, either way, I love it, guys. But also, there are a couple other things that I don't care for in some of the Resident Evil games. Like, one is from Biohazard, Resident Evil 7, that the boss battles took so long for them to die. Unless you got the upgrades for your weapons and all, then they were pretty easy. But what I loved a lot in the game was that you actually got to use the main weapon of Albert Wesker's pistol. That I enjoyed. Because it was Wesker that used that gun, and when you get the gun from the that chest in Resident Evil 7, it's so cool to see. But be that as it may, it's a new day, it's New Year's, it's amazing, so I think the whole thing with Resident Evil is really amazing, and I just cannot believe how good these games have gotten in the last few years. It's just been really cool to see the progress and everything.
It's a security token.
I mean, everything that happened up until Wesker was crazy. Now, I'm not too sure what came first between Resident Evil 5 or Resident Evil Revelations, but I gotta think Resident Evil Revelations came somewhere between Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 4. I got a feeling about it, but you know how I can think of it is like, by playing the games so many times in the correct order or the wrong order, because I played Resident Evil 5 first, and then Resident Evil Revelations, and then Revelations 2, and then Resident Evil 6, then Resident Evil 7, and then about a year or two later, then I found Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil, the main first one. But you know, I can kind of think of it because like it must go like Resident Evil 0 would be the first one. Resident Evil is the second one. Resident Evil 2 is the third. Have not seen Resident Evil 3. But maybe they skipped that and put in the Revelations next. And then Resident Evil 4. Then Resident Evil 5. Then Resident Evil Revelations. And then Biohazard 7 for the Resident Evil franchise. But hey, I'm just guessing, guys. I don't know the full thing about it, so I'm just guessing the order that it came in.
We can use it.
I don't know, but hey, do not get me wrong. I'm not complaining about the orders of the games or how the games work.
That should hold us for now.
I love it a lot, and I think someday I will try to become a professional player for Resident Evil and the Uncharted game.
It's okay. The bulkhead's closed.
Because like, why shouldn't I, right? As you can see through the gameplays I've done, I practically am a god in this game. And in all the other games of Resident Evil, I have become way more better, and yeah, basically Resident Evil is in my home. So yeah, it's been so much fun playing these games and doing all of it, and just doing the recordings as well. It's just
Quint learned there were two ships
fun
during
for
his
me.
investigation. You must be on the Queen Zenobia's sister ship. Jill and Parker are probably being
But
held on
as
that
well,
ship.
from that,
Have you been able to locate it?
No, but I've got my top.
I don't
people
know
on it.
what else to say because
much time is
Resident
left, right?
Evil
Correct. It's
is
possible that up until a few
my
hours
second
ago, the
favorite.
ships were traveling together. Search the area.
And Uncharted is my top favorite. There's just not much else to say because all the games that I've ever loved to play is just basically between these and the three games of my top favorites because they were all in the third person as you see now. Except for Biohazard. I didn't care for how you got only first person and didn't get to customize it to be a third person gameplay. That was pretty sad. And I didn't enjoy the first person, but I played the games just to get the experience. It was horrifying. It was really a terrifying game. Biohazard was. But hey, nothing was more scarier than playing Outlast 2. I'll admit that. Outlast 2 was the scariest game that I could ever play in my entire life. And you guys know why, right? So I don't even have to say much. I really wouldn't recommend Outlast 2, but I would recommend playing Outlast 1 for sure. Because it took me about a month or so. No, wait, it took me only a week just to finish Outlast 2. And I played Outlast 1 like 16 or to 20 times. A few times on the PS4, a few times on the Xbox One, so yeah, I pretty much am overpowered on Outlast. So the first Outlast game was awesome, and I am going back to playing Outlast again, do more recordings of it, talk about more of the terrifying games, so you guys can see what I'm all about in the Outlast game. But basically, guys, this video is almost done, and I truly do find that these games are so amusing. The only note that I would have for Resident Evil 8, if there is gonna be a 8th game, I would believe and sincerely hope only third person, no first person. Like, just cut it out, guys. Like, Resident Evil, get your shit together. No first person, just third person. Put in the few jump scares and all. Do whatever you want, but just keep away with the first person thing. It was really irritating. So basically, that's all I gotta say for that part. But other than that, guys, Resident Evil Revelations, a game that I'm playing right now, is so much fun and just so amusing. And like, now these guys are just swarming around, and I'm just shocked on how many there are.